No hurricane. There was no hurricane. We got actually some, not even thunderstorms. We got some heavy rain on Sunday afternoon, but I have definitely seen worse, so we are safe. I know there's some people without power in southern New England and New York, so hoping and praying that they're okay and they get everything they need quickly. Hey BookTube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. This is a tag for the middle of my week, and I'm doing the Backlisted Book Tag. This was created by Paula at Draw Your Book, and I was tagged by Courtney Ferriter, so I'll have both of their links in the description box below. This is going to be good because I love backlisted books. And I just spoiled the first question. Number 1, do you read backlisted books and why? I absolutely do. The vast majority of the books I read are backlisted. Why? They're easy to get. They are cheaper. They are thrifty. And I can get them anywhere. And I love buying used books. I love supporting used booksellers. They're usually tiny stores, independent. There's only one used bookstore that I know of in my area that has 2 locations. And I say my area, they're over an hour away. So most used bookshops in my area are run by individuals, and I really love supporting them. I buy a lot of used books online, and I try to buy them from either organizations that are in charitable businesses like Goodwill, or a lot of places like Better World Books and Thrift Books donate to charities, or I will buy from individual booksellers or sources that I know are small shops. Backlisted books I love because if they've been around for quite a bit, I've already heard about them at length. I've heard many reviews. There's plenty of information to go on. And if they're still in print, it's because they're that good. So it's not really a guarantee, but it's a pretty good bet I'm going to like them. Number 2, what is your definition of a backlisted book? Personally, I think any book published in the previous year or earlier is a backlist. I don't count classics in that, and classics and or modern classics. So maybe if I narrow it down a little bit, we're in 2021, I would consider a backlist book anything that published and was released in 2020 and earlier, probably up until 1970. So maybe the previous 50 years. If it's earlier than that, it becomes a modern classic, in my opinion, and anything beyond, the 20th century going into the 19th century, those are classics, which is different than a backlist. Number 3, name a backlist novel you love. This is so hard because there's just hundreds of them. But the first ones I thought of, I think I have, do I just have one? I'll just show you one today. There are so many. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It's Ahab's Wife by Sina Jeter Nasland. We read this for the Critical Chicks book group years ago, and it has a textured cover with some gold foil on it. This book was published in, 1999. And this is a hefty book. It is 666 pages. No, 665. I hate that number. I absolutely adore this book, and it is the wife of Captain Ahab of Moby Dick fame. And this was inspired by a very brief passage in Moby Dick. Sina Jeter Nasland just created this whole world around a little portion of a classic, and I absolutely love that book. I think I've had this on my channel in the past, I don't remember in what video, and I think I heard from a few of you that you really liked it too. Number 4, name a backlisted nonfiction you love. I have 2 really quickly. This one is The Cost of Living by Deborah Levy. This was published in 2018, so it's a fairly new backlist book. The subtitle is A Working Autobiography. This took me by surprise. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. She talks about writing, divorce, motherhood, starting a brand new life after divorce, living in London. It was excellent. I loved it. It's a collection of essays, and it was awesome. The other one I've talked about many times, it's Seabiscuit by Laura Hillenbrand. The story of the racehorse Seabiscuit and horse racing in general and the industry and this horse's genealogy. I wasn't supposed to like this book, but I absolutely loved it. Excellent, excellent nonfiction. Number 5, name a backlisted translated book that you love. Again, I have 2 very quickly. The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. This is translated from the Japanese by Stephen Snyder. I think he translates all of her books, and I believe it's from the Japanese. Yes. This is the story of a woman who takes a job as the housekeeper for a well-known professor whose memory only lasts 80 minutes long. And so she keeps going back and she keeps setting up little tricks and little skills for him to help him remember her as she shows up every day with her young son who absolutely loves baseball. It's a beautiful book. And let's see, the other one, this is the first book in a quartet. It is, of course, Elena Ferrante, My Brilliant Friend. This is published, translated from the Italian by Anne Goldstein. And this one was published in 2012. I didn't tell you when The Housekeeper and the Professor was published. And that would be 2003 by Yoko Ogawa. This one, My Brilliant Friend, 2012. This is the first in the Neapolitan Quartet. It's talking about 2 female best friends in Naples, Italy in the 60s. And I just thought this entire series is brilliant. All 4 books I just beloved, and I need to reread this series. I bought this one, read it, and just subsequently ran out and bought the next one when it was out, and the next one, and then I don't know why I didn't buy all 4 at the same time. Anyway, number 6, name an author you have read all the backlist from. I don't have any, but I kind of got close. I didn't get close, but one of my favorite books is The World According to Garp by John Irving. That was the first Irving book I read. Once I finished that, I went back in time to his first book, and I read all of them. And then this was the last John Irving that I finished, A Widow for 1 Year, and this one was published in 1998. And funny, but I got this hardcover for $2. It's in almost brand new shape. This was the last John Irving book that I finished, and I own, 10 John Irving books right now. I really loved this book. And then after this one came The Fourth Hand, which I started to read, and I thought, this is so flipping messed up. But this one I really liked, and what I am going to do is I am going to continue to read John Irving books probably until I finish them all. Number 7, name an author you want to read all the backlist from. I want to read all of Maggie O'Farrell's books. She wrote Hamnet. I also read her memoir, I Am, which was very good. And I own, I think, 5 other of her books, of her novels. And I would really like to read all of her books. I like her writing style. And I also want to read the rest of Elena Ferrante's books. I think she has a couple out there I haven't read. The Lying Life of Adults, I think, is her newest novel. I'd like to read that one. What else? Name number 8. I think this is the last prompt. I could be wrong. I'm not often wrong, but I don't think I am this time. Name a backlisted book that you think will become a classic. I have a couple. Let's see. Bastard Out of Carolina by Dorothy Allison. I know that this is already being assigned and read in high school English classes. It's a brutal book to read, and this would be appropriate for an older teenager. But this is exceptionally written about a family in the Carolinas, and abuse, family dysfunction, inherited trauma, and this book was published in 1992. So I think this will become a classic. Another one is Close Range by Annie Proulx, and this is Wyoming stories. I read this as a buddy read with Freddie at Sluggish Reader, and this is a collection of short stories about Wyoming. This collection was published in 1999, and the last short story in this collection is Brokeback Mountain. And the story was beautiful, and the movie was, I think, so well done because it was based on a short story. When you do a movie based on an entire novel, it's very difficult to get all of the detail, but basing it off of this short story, it was a gorgeous movie based on an absolutely phenomenal story. So I think that's going to become a classic. And one more, this may or may not already be a classic, and wait till you see this ratty little book that I read. This was published in 1985. That's not a classic yet. It's not 50 years old, and it's Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This is the actual pocket paperback that I read when I first read the book. I have many other of Larry McMurtry's books, and I have a bigger copy of this one. This was me reading it, like doing this, and I take my glasses off so I could put it right up to my face. These mass market paperbacks are so tiny, and the font is tiny and pushed together. It's just like all crowded on the page. But I love the feel of this. I bought it used, and it's really floppy, and it was clearly red. And I absolutely loved being able to open it, and it opens almost flat. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This was a Pulitzer winner, and I don't know if I've ever seen this assigned in school. That's kind of almost like my benchmark as to if a book is going to become a classic, as if it's being assigned in high school English classes yet. But this is a Western. And it's about a group of old-timey Western, Texas Rangers driving cattle to Montana or Wyoming or one of those really wicked cold places. It is gorgeous. It is everything an epic novel should be. It's super long. It's one of those chunky books, but it is one of my favorites of all time. Pulitzer winner. Excellent backlist, and I honestly hope it becomes a classic. So that is it. I've seen this tag go out to a bunch of other channels. A lot of other people are doing it. I'm not going to tag anybody. Please do the tag if you like it and it's interesting to you and you love reading backlist books, or if you love buying or reading used books. Please do the tag. I would love to hear and watch your answers. Let me know what you think about any of the books I showed you in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.